Welcome to our LUCHA Parent Support Tech Training. Miss Ruby, our community liaison, and Mrs. Burt, our principal of LUCHA, are going to do a series of trainings to help support our parents in distance learning.
And we started with just asking how you're feeling about distance learning, and now we're jumping into objectives, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and just mute participants just so we don't get all that background noise as well. So no offense to anybody who is now getting their volume turned off. Just unmute yourself if you have a question, okay? So yo voy a silenciar a todos, pero si tienes pregunta, por favor, pueden quitarse de mute para pregúntame algo, okay? All right, so todos ustedes deben tener sus computadores y también sus iPads. Lo que necesita asegurar que tienes es la login information de su niño, ¿ok? Esa son la información que cada niño necesita tener para entrar en los devices de la escuela. Okay? If you don't have it or your child forgot it, you can't find it, just reach out to us here in the office and we can help you with that information. Okay. Next is we are going to make sure all of the devices for school are on a filter. We want to make sure that we are monitoring our students' behavior, making sure that they're staying safe on the internet. So we use a program called Securely. If you are on an iPad and you're going to YouTube or to anything on Safari, the first time you log in, it will ask you for that login information again. So it is that same one. You got it on a little index card when your child came, STU42 something, and then a bunch of numbers, and you were going to need to put the @arusd.org. And then the password should be a series of numbers with the letters ST and a capital U at the end, okay? So todos los computadores tienen un sistema de filter para asegurar que los niños están seguros cuando están usando la computadora. Para empezar, cuando estás tratando de empezar a Safari o a YouTube, algo como esto van a aparecer en la computadora, en el iPad, y necesita entrar otra vez el login de su niño. Debe guardar, so no necesita entrar cada vez, pero es muy importante que tiene estos números. Si faltan, por favor, llámanos en la oficina. Okay, so again, if you're missing it, just call us in the office and we'll give you that information. All right, so Zoom. Obviously, you are somewhat Zoom pros because you're all here on this Zoom meeting. So you guys all figured out how to get into Zoom, how to log in. And this is what your students are going to do every single day, Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. Okay, Zoom is a video conferencing tool. So la aplicación de Zoom es algo que nosotros vamos a usar diariamente, lunes hasta viernes, para tener nuestras clases. Todos los niños necesitan entrar a las 9. Okay? All of the students need to enter Zoom at 9 a.m. Mondays through Thursdays at LUCHA are with their classroom teacher. And you all got that link. That same classroom link is going to be the link that they use for the entire school year. On Fridays, we have our school-wide LUCHA launch. And I sent out that link again to all the students and all the families at the beginning of the year. Again, that will be the same link all year long. So lunes hasta jueves con los maestros, viernes conmigo en nuestro lanzamiento de la escuela. The links themselves are all meeting ID. So you can go to Zoom and join meeting, or you can enter it from a QR code. I know our TK and kinder teachers gave the students a QR code to access that information. So I'm gonna show you real quick on my device. I have an iPad that I have set up just so you can see what it looks like when you go to sign in. Okay, so in just a moment, you should see my screen. And when this is an example of what a school iPad looks like. When you go to the Zoom application, you will just go ahead and join a meeting, okay? And the thing that's very important to note is this is how your student changes their name. Right now, it's gonna be registered with whatever the iPad is called. We really want to make sure that we're changing our students' screen names so that we can monitor their attendance. So make sure that your students are putting in their correct name. So necesitamos asegurar que los niños están usando sus nombres cuando están entrando. Muchas veces los niños están usando el nombre Lucha. Yo pienso que esto está pasando porque muchas personas piensan que esto es donde debe poner la contraseña, pero no, esto es para el nombre, okay? So make sure the meeting ID is the series of numbers, and then this is where you put in your screen name. So make sure you don't put the password here. The password will be asked in the next pop-up window, okay? So that's important. And then you'll wanna make sure that when it pops up, you're going to join with internet audio. And unfortunately, I can't enter into this Zoom meeting with this because my account is already being used, but it's very important to make sure that your children are changing their names, okay? Es muy importante que los niños están cambiando sus nombres porque nosotros no sabemos quién es D, X, L, M, T, 1, 2, 7, 9, right? Nosotros no sabemos. So that's how we want to make sure we're taking attendance with their names. Okay, any questions so far? ¿Preguntas hasta ahorita?
No.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go back to our share screen. Just going to show you a couple of the different features that you have on Zoom, and then we're going to jump into ParentSquare. Okay, so, oops, where is my, all right, so I have, sorry, I lost my presentation, it went away. All right. I'm gonna open it up again here. All right, so next piece that we're gonna go through is to show you some of the features that are on there. So when you go on Zoom, on a Chromebook, you have less features than what you would have on an iPad and on maybe your personal phone or updated. The Chromebooks are limited, and so unfortunately, students can't do things like reactions. They wouldn't be able to record their meeting. And so just if your students are getting frustrated because they're looking for some of those features, they will be limited on a Chromebook that they're using, okay? So make sure that they note that and they don't go looking for all of those options. However, the two main features that will be used over and over again are mute and unmute. As you can imagine, when you get into big classes of students, it does become more challenging for the teacher to hear everybody if they're all talking at once. So that is something that our students and our teachers will be asking the students to use frequently. Okay. So the other piece is the raise hand feature, which I saw some of you already doing, which is fantastic. The way to get to the raise hand feature is through this participants tab. So if you go into the participants tab, you will see a series of names there. And one of the things you can ask to do is raise hand. And then finally, the chat is another big important piece. If you want to leave written comments, you go to this message tab. Good, and here I can see Element's laptop just raised hand. So good job, Candy, you got it, you figured it out. The chat feature is where you can type in little comments as well. Okay, so estas son algunas de las características que pueden usar en Zoom para levantar su mano. Ustedes necesitan pasar a la sección que se llama Participants. Busca su nombre y van a tener opción de levantar su mano. También para poner algo en chat, están buscando este símbolo aquí que tiene el dibujo para hablar y pueden poner algunos mensajes.
Miss Fer, un comentario.
Sí.
Yo casi no estoy con Alison en la clase, pero justo ahora cuando estaban con usted, yo creo que es un poco, no sé si sea recomendable que los maestros bloqueen la sección de chat, porque hay muchos niños que nomás están escribiendo hola y o sea, nomás cualquier cosa para distraerse, no necesariamente algo que necesiten preguntarle al maestro, sino que nomás están escribiendo ahí. Sí. Y pues los otros se distraen a estar queriendo ver lo que están poniendo, ¿verdad? No sé si hay alguna manera de que bloqueen cuando estén en la clase el chat.
Sí, sí, muy buena pregunta y sí, es opción de hacer esto. So, los maestros y algunos de los maestros sí están usando, también ellos pueden bloquear y entonces abrirlo cuando están pidiendo una pregunta, right? So, no necesita bloquearlo por toda la clase, pero pueden hacerlo. So, igual como nosotros, los maestros también están aprendiendo, right? So, ellos están tratando de manejar características también. So, yo puedo hablar con ellos también para recordarles, quizás si los niños están distraídos, debe bloquear el chat para que ellos puedan enfocarse un poquito mejor. So the question was, it could be a good idea to block that chat sometimes because the students can get distracted by just wanting to write. And of course, the young kids, they just want to say hi to their friends. Hi, 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 and that's the whole chat. So we leave it open because we do want to use it as a tool for students to talk to each other. But yes, it can become distracting as well. So, just as we're getting used to these tools, remember that our teachers are getting used to it as well. So please make sure that the students are using it appropriately, but I'll remind the teachers too that they can block it if they want to. A couple of the questions that came up on the chat too are the background. So again, if you're using a Chromebook, unfortunately, you can't use virtual backgrounds, but virtual backgrounds would be an opportunity to put something else behind your screen. But if you are having your student positioned somewhere in your house, we would recommend it being behind a blank wall or something so they're not seeing, little brother and sister running through the background, or, we want to make sure that we're maintaining your privacy as well. And so make sure that your child's set up in a spot where you feel comfortable with whatever is going to be in view on the screen, all right? So we want to keep that also not so much of a distraction too. So when your child's on their computer, if you can, make sure the TV's off, the other distractions that they might have are all taken away so that they can really focus on their schoolwork. And of course, headphones are a great help. We definitely recommend the headphones with the microphone because then we can hear the students very clearly when they're talking. So para traducir esto también, cuando los niños están entrando en Zoom, recuerda que nosotros podemos mirar las cosas detrás del niño. So debes pensar en dónde están usando esto para que no están mirando, la tele de la familia, no están con los niños de sus hermanos, hermanas moviendo y distrayendo a los demás también. So yo sé que es difícil cuando están en la casa, pero lo que pueden hacer para asegurar que su niño tiene su propio espacio para sus clases. También nosotros estamos recomendando los micrófonos y los audífonos y los audífonos con los micrófonos para que los niños no están con mucho ruido alrededor de ellos y también con los micrófonos son más fácil de escuchar. La maestra pueden escucharle mejor. Okay. I have some videos embedded in this presentation that I'm not going to play during this training, but I am going to send out these slides to everybody after the fact, so you can go back and watch the videos if you want some more support. So está en esta presentación, son algunos videos. Yo no voy a tocarles ahorita, pero si quieres repasarlo, voy a mandar toda la información a ustedes para que puedan ver en su propio tiempo. All right.
Sí, gracias. Rubí tiene el micrófono apagado.
Can you guys hear Ruby still? All right, so I'm just going to go through these last Zoom slides and then I'll take any questions about Zoom before we jump into ParentSquare. Okay, so like I said, teacher information will always come with a link. You can click on the link right away and then it'll take you there. Otherwise, you can always go to the Zoom website and type it in with the password as well. So there's two options for getting in, okay? All right, so before we jump into ParentSquare, I'm gonna stop here and see, do we have any questions about Zoom? ¿Tenemos cualquier pregunta sobre la aplicación Zoom? Let me see, I see Maria Espinosa, you have your hand up. ¿Tienes pregunta? Mari, yeah.
Let me unmute myself.
There you go.
También que me quería comentar, no sé si comentó también que en el chat ¿Podemos mandar mensajes para todos o mensajes privados?
Ah, thank you. Yeah, good point. So if you guys go onto chat right now, everybody take a look. At the bottom, there's a blue box where it says next to, and you'll either see to everyone or you can go through and choose someone. So like, for example, right now, if you want to say, Ruby, you translated that word wrong, you can send Ruby a private message so you're not outing her to the entire audience, right? That she said a different word in translation, so that it is a private message. And that's the same thing with the student. Maybe a student wants to ask a question, but they don't want the whole class to know. So they just want to say it in a private question just to their teacher. They can go ahead and do that. Sometimes the teacher has disabled the private messages to another student, right? They don't want each other to be chatting to each other while they're teaching. So in many of our teachers' classes, they only allow everyone or they allow to the teacher. But oftentimes the teachers are disabling it for everybody because we don't want kids just, you know, whispering on the side when they're supposed to be in class, okay? So, sí, esta función de chat pueden hacerlo a una persona en particular, pero muchas veces los maestros no están permitiendo esto niño a niño porque no quieren que los niños están, hablando mientras están en clase, pero pueden hacer un mensaje privado al maestro para que no están pidiéndolo en frente de toda la clase. Great, thank you, Mari, for bringing that up. Candy, did you have a question? No? Oh, but you figured out how to lower. I'm going to lower your hand then. There you go. Excellent. Anybody else with a question? Mari, did you have anything else? No. I'm going to I'll lower your hand. Okay, perfect. So let's jump into ParentSquare then. Hopefully you have
I have a question.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I have a question, Miss Bert.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Hi,
I'm working right now. I just take a break.
Yeah, perfect.
I want to know if it's any possible that you can how do I can find out, because I'm working and sometimes when my son is in the class, he is in YouTube and a class at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having a hard time with that with my daughters too, because they cannot let him, they keep on telling him, don't do this. Can you please remind the teacher to tell him to show his picture instead of show his face instead of, I already talked to them, but still,
Yeah, well, and so it's a tricky thing. We're in this spot where we understand that many families also feel that it's an invasion of privacy, right? If we're taking our video and you're seeing our home, we're not comfortable with the video being on. So we're not forcing it. We are not forcing students to put video on because we do not want to force ourselves into your homes, right? Some people just aren't comfortable with that. So, but it's definitely our preference, right? So that's why our teachers are doing home visits right now. They are checking in with families. They're checking in to say, hey, I've noticed that your kid hasn't turned their video on this week for their classes. Is there anything, I can do to help you feel more comfortable showing video? So we're trying to be sensitive about that. We understand that it can be an issue, but we also don't want kids to take advantage of that and say, oh, I'm not going to show video and that means I can do whatever I want, right? So it's a spot that we're going to continue to work with you families on, and please bring it up as your teachers have their virtual home visits with you so that we can work through it. But it's a good yeah.
What did I say about the YouTube?
Yeah, so we can't block YouTube, unfortunately, because we use YouTube as an instructional tool. So if we were blocking it, then we wouldn't have access to it. So that's going to be.
I know, that's what I figured out. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask anyways.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could help you there. I wish we can, our filter does check though. Like I'll get messages if there's something inappropriate that your child is doing on YouTube or, searching for, then I get those messages and I've had to make a couple phone calls to say, hey, your kid's searching for X, Y, and Z, right? So yo estoy recibiendo mensajes cuando los niños están tratando de buscar algo que no está apropiado. So, ustedes que yo no puedo bloquear YouTube porque estamos usándolo, nosotros tenemos un Lucha YouTube channel.
I know.
Pero cuando está inapropiado, yo estoy, hablando con los papás sobre esto.
Okay, thank you. That makes me more safe. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us during your break too.
I'm trying my best. I was trying to hurry up.
All right. So I want to switch gears to ParentSquare, and to show you ParentSquare, I'm actually going to share with you my phone. And so let me make sure this is working. Okay, you guys should see my phone now. I just got a message from Mrs. Orenia. Hopefully no embarrassing texts come up while I am showing you my screen. So ParentSquare is best used as an app. So if you do not have the app, I would definitely recommend the app because this is where you can take advantage of the most features. So it is this one down here at the bottom called ParentSquare. So when you download it to your smartphone or your iPad, you will be able to go back and check all of the messages that our school has ever sent. Some of you just are receiving the emails or the texts right now, which is great too, which means you are connected. But again, without the app feature, you can't go back and say, oh wait, did Mr. Deering send a message? Let me go back in my text and check it all. So again, definitely recommend the app. So la recomendación con la aplicación de ParentSquare es no solamente recibir los mensajes por texto y por email, pero también de usar la aplicación en su teléfono o en su iPad porque es más fácil y ustedes pueden chequear toda la información. Okay, when you are in the application, there's a couple of things that will be helpful. If you go to these 3 lines at the top, you can go in and change your preferences. Okay, so if you click on the Preferences tab, you will be able to see how you get your notifications. Okay, so for example, if you want to get it on email, you can turn your email on. Okay, and this says that I get the messages from LUCHA and from the district, and these are coming as an email. I don't like getting them as text because I get too many texts, so I turn text off. But if you want to get them as text messages because that's the easiest way for them, you can turn those on as well. And you saw I just got an alert on, that's my application. So you can also, if you have the app, you can get notifications. Those are those pop-ups that come on your phone as alerts. Okay, so ustedes pueden cambiar sus preferencias para que están recibiendo de email, de text, o solamente en la aplicación. Okay. The other thing that you can choose is if you don't want to get messages throughout the day, you can also change it. Instead of getting them instantly, you can change it to a digest. So you just get one message that has all of the reminders for the day at the end of the day. I don't do this because sometimes there's time-sensitive information that comes up, so I prefer to get it instantly. That way, if it is, oh, today at 12, there's pickups, and if I don't get that till 5, then I've missed the message. But if you prefer that way, you can do that, okay? So, algunas preferencias para escoger cómo quieres recibir nuestros mensajes de ParentSquare, okay? The other preference you can change is your language, okay? So I know a lot of you have this app in Spanish, but you haven't changed the setting of your preferred language so that your messages are still coming in English. So in order to do that, again, you go to these 3 lines at the top, you go to Account, and then Preferences, and in Preferences, you go to Language Settings, and that's where you can choose whatever language you want as your preferred language. And that would mean that all of your messages would come. So here, I'll change mine real quick so you can see. If I go to Preferences and I say I want to change mine all to Arabic, when I go through, I'll see that all my messages then, oh, I don't think I hit save. So go to Preferences. Oh, I did Language Settings, Arabic, and then it should all load up in that new language. You might need to just refresh it. And then, yep, you'll see all my messages now are in my preferred language. Okay. I'm going to change back to English. So any questions about the options here in ParentSquare? If you want to send a message to your child, it's super simple. This plus sign at the top, you can send a message and you will just give that directly to your teacher's name. So my child's with Mrs. Orenia, I would just type in and find, oh, here's the teacher, and you can type in a message. You can add things on top of it, different pictures or whatnot. So para escribir un mensaje a la maestra, pueden escoger el plus, el símbolo de plus, para mandar algo a la maestra. Okay, so again, this is where I'm sending messages, your teachers are sending messages, the district is sending messages, so this is an important place to check. Every Wednesday at Lucha, cada miércoles en Lucha, yo estoy mandando el Lucha Ledger, okay? If you click on the message, you'll see that I actually embed the message right into the application. So yo estoy poniendo el mensaje, nuestro noticiero, en el mensaje. Para cambiar la traducción aquí, necesitas escoger esto, Translate Newsletter. Y otra vez, pueden escoger su idioma de preferencia para recibir la información. Okay, so this is because we use something called Some More. You can either get this through your email. I send a lot of you the message in email, but if you're going on here, again, you can translate it by clicking on this black button at top. It says Translate Newsletter, okay? And it should come up. So I did notice that on some phones, like if you have a Samsung, for some reason, the actual message doesn't come up on the message, but then you can just click on this link and it'll take you to the Some More page and you'll be able to access the newsletter. And again, just translate it into whatever language you want to get that information. All right, so I'm gonna stop share and I'm gonna take any questions that people have about ParentSquare then, okay? So hay algunas preguntas sobre la aplicación de ParentSquare. All right, none. Okay, good. So make sure that you have that. Again, I definitely recommend the application as opposed to just getting the messages. Carmen, go ahead, Carmen.
Tengo una, Miss Burr.
Hi, buenos días.
La aplicación de ParentSquare,
Yes.
¿puede uno borrar los mensajes, the old messages?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay, because I was trying, I couldn't figure it out how.
Yeah, I think they want it to stay there as a feed so that you can reference it. So I don't think you can delete it. You can't silence us. No puede silenciarnos. Was there, Carmen, did you have a question as well?
Yes, so, I'm gonna give you an example. Like some students have students in elementary school, but they have ParentSquare for the elementary school kids, but they also wanted to add the ones from middle school and they cannot see it. How do they add that?
Yeah, great question. So ParentSquare, you have to be registered with the same email address. So we just found this problem. We were having trouble with some parents not being able to access ParentSquare because at one school, they gave their Gmail email address, and at another school, they gave their Hotmail email address. And so if the system isn't linked to the same phone number or the same email address, that's where the problems are. So make sure that you're giving both schools the same contact info, and then you can add both children. Even if they're not on the same school, any school that uses ParentSquare, you should be able to access your child's information within the same app. Okay, so es bien importante, es bien importante que están usando la misma información con cada escuela. So, si tiene dos niños en dos escuelas diferentes, no importa si están en distritos diferentes o nada, pero necesita asegurar que es el mismo email address o el mismo celular, porque si son diferentes, no pueden combinar los dos accounts. Okay. Excellent, great questions. All right, so I'm gonna go back to our presentation so that we can go into, we went through all of this. I showed you this on the application, but just to go through again, there's videos there. I'm not gonna play them right now, but if you wanna go back and watch them, these are here for you. It's in Spanish and in English, okay? Estos videos están aquí. No voy a mostrarles ahorita porque estoy enseñándoles por el celular. Okay, so we just took a tour of it, talked about how to sign up. To sign up, you just need to give us your contact information and we're gonna automatically send you an invitation. So if you haven't signed up, check your inbox because we probably sent that to you. And if not, let me know. I can send you another invitation to it, and you'll just click on accept invitation from the school, and then you will be able to access it, okay? We talked about language preferences, how to change that, and how to change your notification preferences, okay? So those are the big things with ParentSquare. All right, we talked about using the plus sign to send messages to teachers, or you can also send me messages, Miss Ruby messages, Mrs. Musquez. So any of the staff at Lucha, you can access and send it to us via ParentSquare as well. Okay, so pueden accesar cualquier miembro del staff de Lucha usando ParentSquare. All right, so we're gonna switch to our last application that we're gonna go over today, which is Seesaw. So for Seesaw, it's very important to note that there are two Seesaw applications. There is Seesaw Class, and that is the one the students use. That's the one the students use to turn in their assignments, to check their messages. And then there is also Seesaw Family, and that's the one parents would use to see their students' work and to also receive messages. But they are two separate apps. So for the students, if they have an iPad that they're using, the app is already downloaded on it. If they are going online, the teachers have already logged them into their Seesaw Class. For parents, then you don't need to download the Seesaw Class application because you're not going to probably turn in student work through your phone. But you would want to download the Seesaw Family application so that you can have contact with a teacher, you can see your students' work and monitor what they're doing. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through, again, I'm gonna leave these videos in here. You can go back and watch these videos on your own, but it gives you some more information. Again, it's in Spanish and English, but I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through how to log in to Seesaw. So before I set up, I'm gonna set it up on an iPad. Does anybody have any questions about Seesaw? Okay. So I have my iPad here, and I'm gonna show you again what it looks like to log in your student. So this should be popping up in just a minute. Nope, I don't know why it's not popping up. Let me try this again. Okay, I'm gonna try another app. Let's see if it, we just have multiple, I have multiple iPhones and iPads here and making sure everything's working. So if at first something doesn't work, we go to another one. Okay. Okay, so this one should be popping up now. So again, when your student logs in, they will get something called a home learning code, okay? By now, hopefully all your students are past this stage and hopefully they are all in their Seesaw, but the Seesaw for Class application looks like this, and it'll say on it class. So you select that application and you will get to this page that asks, I'm a teacher or I'm a student. So your child obviously is gonna select, I'm a student. And this is where you're gonna wanna enter in their text code. Every student has a unique text code. So I'm gonna enter in my son's text code so that we can just look. So again, don't enter this in because it will be different for your child. And if you have not received yours, then ask us and we will give you your information so that your child can get logged in. Okay, so it's a 16-digit code. So I'm looking at my son's kindergarten work. And when you go onto the Seesaw account, you will see 3 different tabs here at the side, okay? You will see journal, and journal is where you will see just all of the work that they have done and turned into their teacher, okay? You will see activities. Activities are where the teachers are assigning them things. If you see a number up here, this is how many activities your child still has left to do. So right here, you can see Finley has one activity that he still has to do today, and it is this one, number 1 practice. So in order for my child to do this, he would have to go to his activities tab, choose add response. Okay, when he chooses, oops, I'm trying to click on my computer. When he chooses add response, you will see the activity. Seesaw has a number of great features which makes it so easy to do distance learning, because on the bottom you can see there is a pen tab. They can choose to make the size of their font bigger or smaller. They can change the color of their font. They can erase what they've been working on. They can move things around. So there's lots of different options. And the teachers, again, are just practicing their different techniques. So this is a tracing practice. He would trace the numbers, all the rest. He can also do an audio recording by going onto the side and clicking the microphone there. And you would have to allow the microphone. So you might get this pop-up that says, would you like to access the microphone? You can say, yes, I'm gonna leave a message. Hi, Mrs. Ortega. This was super easy for me. I really love being in your class, right? And you can, when you're all done, you hit the done button, right? So I'm not gonna do it because he'll get really mad at me if I turn in his assignment. But these are all the features that you will see. They can take pictures, the photo, video, upload something. They can add in shapes. They can add in links. So this, again, is a tool that has been continuing to evolve and is really, really great for distance learning. Again, always check the green done button when their child is done to turn it into their teacher. Right now, I am not going to turn it in. I'm going to exit the recording. I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to delete and start over so my child doesn't get mad at me. Okay, so that's activities. You can also go and see which ones you already completed for the day by clicking onto the Done tab. So he already completed the how to draw a frog. He already completed this trace number 1 activity. So these are all the done ones. If there are things that he's still in progress, it would be here, and then what he still has left to do. Okay, so en actividades, ellos van a tener, los que se faltan van a aparecer un círculo rojo que está arriba del luz para mostrar cuántas actividades todavía necesita completar. Esos son to do. Si ya están hechos, van a estar aquí sobre done. Okay, so al fin de cada día deben tener ningunos rojos, okay, rojos, círculos rojos en la luz para que están terminados con todo cada día. Okay, then finally, under the inbox tab, this is where you'll get messages. Okay, again, teachers are sending out weekly reports to tell you how they're doing on assignments. So at the end of the week, you will see a report like this from the teacher. I mean, this is an example of a kinder one. I know in the upper grades, they're doing it a little bit differently, but you'll see what things were completed and which things weren't. If there's anything that does have red X's on it, then you want to check in with your teacher, or if there's anything red on their documents, to make sure that all the work gets turned in. Okay, and then finally, under school announcements, this is where I post school-wide messages to the students. So for example, I do my Monday morning messages. So cada lunes estoy mandando el mensaje de lunes a los niños. Ellos deben mirarlo, y ustedes también. Estoy mandando a los padres y a los niños. So para mirarlo, necesita escuchar y escogerlo y tomar el Monday message. So when this opens up, here you can see I just tried to go into YouTube, and I can't access YouTube because I haven't entered in my securely features. So then this is where you will log in with your Google and that information that we shared with you before, STU42, all the information. And I don't have my son's memorized, so I can't enter in for him, but you would put that information here to be able to access any videos on YouTube. Okay. So that's linked here under that message. And I also put in the links for Zoom for Lucha Lunch. Sometimes on Friday, some kids are getting confused and logging into their teacher's class instead of our Lucha Lunch. So every Friday morning, I put it on here again to say, remember, it's Friday. Instead of your teacher's class, you have Lucha Lunch. Here's the link. So they can just click right on this link, and it'll take them right to Zoom, okay, to join their meeting. And again, don't put Lucha in here. This is where your screen name is. So make sure you put in your name. And then you can see underneath here, it says meeting password. That's where you would put in Lucha. So I noticed a lot of people coming in as Lucha because they're putting it in as different pieces. All right, so that was a lot of information shared. I'm gonna stop my share for a minute and see if you have any questions about Seesaw. Yo sé que esto fue mucha información de Seesaw. ¿Hay algunas preguntas sobre esta aplicación?
Yo tengo una pregunta.
Sí, Rosa.
Sí, en mi caso de con Allison, en el Seesaw hay a veces que sí me queda el círculo todavía marcando que tiene actividades, pero ella dice, yo ya las hice, no sé por qué le queden todavía esos círculos ahí.
So, a veces los maestros cuando están chequeando, si hay algo que ellos quieren que el niño está, revisando, entonces van a mandarlo otra vez al niño, right? So the question was, sometimes my child's done all their work, but a red circle still pops up saying there's work done. Why is that happening? Well, one of the things is when the teachers are correcting work, they might send work back to a student. So sometimes they'll say, hey, can you try this again? Make sure you put a capital letter at the beginning of your sentence, right? Or something like that. So if they want the students to review work.
Mira, Rubí.
Yeah, you think maybe that's it? Yeah, so they should.
Mira, como aquí el día 24 está un trabajo.
Sí.
Y luego dice que tiene que entrar al link, está el link ahí, entonces entramos. Y luego es nada más para enseñar la página del símbolo.
So a veces sí, los maestros quieren asegurar que los niños están leyendo las direcciones completamente. Si se falta algo, van a mandarlo otra vez, para decir, trátalo otra vez, asegura que están poniendo toda la información, right?
Ok, pero, al entrar al símbolo no hay más que el link apropiado para California de segundo grado, y luego el nombre del maestro, y luego como todas las aplicaciones que puede usar, el Scratch, el Imagine, el A2C Animals y todo eso, pero no hay nada más que diga que tenga que hacer algo o algo, pues está el Moimax, Raskit y todo eso. Ok, pero ya entramos ahí y sigue apareciendo como que la actividad no está hecha.
Sí, so muy buen comentario porque sí, a veces los maestros están mandando actividades, pero realmente no son actividades, son anuncios. So, yo necesito hablar con los maestros para asegurar que están usando anuncios en vez de actividades por esa razón, porque van a confundir a los niños porque ellos realmente no necesitan entregar algo, es solamente para recibir información. Entonces los niños nunca pueden terminarlo porque solamente es anuncio. So, otra vez, nosotros estamos aprendiendo también, los maestros son, herramientas nuevas para los maestros. Yo voy a anotar esto también, que la diferencia entre anuncio y actividad, right? Si no hay nada de entregar, no debe ser actividad, porque entonces nunca van a quitarse de la lista. So great commentary. She said, it looks like what the teacher sent out was actually an announcement. There was nothing to do. And so the teacher maybe put it in the wrong place and left it as an activity when it could have been an announcement. So, be patient with us as teachers and educators. We're still learning all of this. Yeah, no, thank you for bringing it up. I think that's probably, it sounds like. Yeah. Other questions, Maria.
Sí, por eso era lo que decía. Le queda todavía pues como pendiente esa actividad ahí, ¿verdad? Porque no hay nada que hacer.
Right.
Queda uno en ver las instrucciones y manda.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. Yeah, so I'll talk to the teachers and we'll figure out those things. And we can erase them. So unlike ParentSquare, in ParentSquare we can't erase the messages, but for Seesaw we can. So nosotros sí podemos quitar las actividades que nunca están terminando para que es más limpia en la pantalla de los niños. So we can erase those things so it doesn't keep showing up for the students. Let me go to Maria Marquez.
Ok,
Sí,
muchas gracias.
Sí, yo también tenía la misma pregunta de la señora y yo me comuniqué con mi maestra de mi sureña y ya nos dijo cómo está el asunto y ya pues ya pudimos hacerlo. Ya quedó en otro color porque estaba en rojo, perdón.
Yeah. ¿Y ya han fijado o todavía no?
Parece que ya, porque fue ayer y parece que ya.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So please reach out. You know, if you tell the teachers, hey, you know what, this is still showing up on why is this happening? You know, our teachers are very very open to feedback and want to learn and get better too. So giving them that feedback would be super helpful. So yeah, está bien de hablar con la maestra, pregúntale, decir que, oh, quizás están tratando de mandar un anuncio en vez de actividad. Nosotros vamos a aprender juntos, right? We're going to learn together this year. Great question.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah, no, thank you for your questions. Any other questions on Seesaw? ¿Otras preguntas de Seesaw?
Miss Bear, soy Naudit.
Hola, Naudit.
Tengo una pregunta. En Seesaw Family yo batallé bien mucho. Tenía el Seesaw Family del año pasado con Ariel, pero en ese no podía meter a Yami por más que escaneaba el círculo que nos dan, la seña, no me lo aceptaba. Tuve que abrir otra página de Seesaw. Pude meter a Yami, pero ahora no puedo meter a Ariel.
¿De familia o de clase?
De familia.
Okay.
De familia.
Yeah. So, yo voy a mostrarnos cómo hacer esto, porque yo tengo el mismo problema porque con mis dos niños estaba tomando la misma dificultad. So, yo voy a mostrar a todos cómo hacer esto. Pero antes de hacer esto, hay otras preguntas de Seesaw class. So the question was about Seesaw family and how to add both kids, because sometimes if you have two kids, they don't automatically show up. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. But before I do, I want to make sure there's no more questions about Seesaw class. Again, so we went through the different tools we're using. I already showed you, walked you through these things. Your child goes in with I'm a student. If you need that text code, please let us know. We'll get it for you. So now let me go in and show you Seesaw family. Okay, so I am going to actually do it through my iPad again. So I'm going to close this out so that I can get back into the iPad and show you. For Seesaw family, there's two ways. Well, actually, there's three ways to get in. Okay, so your teachers already put your email address or your cell phone number in their accounts, and you should have gotten a message saying, oh, join so-and-so's journal from Seesaw, right? So esto es una manera. Hay algunas maneras para entrar en Seesaw family. So estamos discutiendo de la familia ahora, que es diferente de clase porque eso es para ustedes, para los padres. Okay. Si no han llegado una invitación por correo electrónico o por texto, la otra manera es pueden recibir una página como esto, ¿ok? Los de TK han mandado estas páginas a los padres para que puedan tomar una foto del QR code para entrar. Si no han recibido esto, hay otra manera que nosotros podemos mandar un link a ustedes para accesar. Okay, so if you're not in Seesaw family, right after this call our office and we can get you hooked up so that you are set up to your child's account. So I'm going to show you the QR code one first, because that I think is the easiest one. And again, if you are just like, oh, please, Mrs. Burke, can you just print that out for me? Because that's the easiest way. That is totally fine. I'm happy to print out a copy for anybody. So just let us know and we will do so. So again, I'm still in my child's Seesaw class, so I'm going to exit out of here. When you get a QR code, what you want to do is always scan it with your camera. So you go to the camera tool and then you're going to see pop-ups that say allow the camera. So I'm going to allow the camera to be used. And then all you do is you put the QR code in the viewfinder of the camera and you'll see a little app load up on top. Okay, it's really important that you're not actually taking a picture of this. Okay, no están tomando foto de esto, solamente están mirando el QR code en la cámara y esperando para esta cosa arriba, esta cosa que está apareciendo aquí. Okay, so voy a tomar voy a escoger esto. So once I click on it, it'll take me to a website. This is the, and this is my other son's, this is my son Callum's account. So it's saying, confirm that you want to connect to him. And I'm going to say yes. Then you are going to have to, if you haven't already, you're going to have to create a family account. If you already have a family account, then you can just sign in. For me, I always use Gmail. I always sign up with Google because I think it's easier to do. So I enter in my login information. And if you are doing this manner and you forgot your password that you used last year, there's an option to just say forgot password and you can reset to a new one. So that's, if that's easier for you guys, you're welcome to do that as well too. Later. All right, so once I sign in, then I will get to my family account. And right now, because I've already logged in for both children, they're both there. But if you go now, Deep, this is what you were asking about. If you go here to your name under family account, you go to this plus side and add child's journal, okay? This is where you will either scan the next person's, so you can just, again, scan your other child's code or put in their text code, okay? So lo que está pidiendo Neldith, cómo sumar los dos de sus niños, necesita escoger su nombre arriba y escoger Add Child Journal. Y entonces usted pueden poner el código para ambos niños para que los dos están apareciendo en su journal. Para no necesita dos aplicaciones. Okay? So again, ParentSquare, you can download the app. Right now, I'm just looking at it on the browser-based, but if you want to download the family app, you're welcome to do that. It makes it a little bit easier. You get the same information, so you can scroll through, see all your child's work. You can give your child messages, right? So I like to give my child some positive feedback, heart his work. You can leave them a comment. The comments that you leave can be audio comments too. You have to allow your microphone, and then you just click on the bottom and say, Finley, I'm so impressed with your drawing of a frog. That looks so good. And you send it to him, and then just press the green check mark. And then my child will be able to see the little message that his mom left for him on his Seesaw post. So you guys are always welcome to add information. You can see that the teachers are leaving comments to the students as well. Even sometimes I will jump on and leave notes to your children. Okay, you'll also be able to access the messages. This is where you'll get the messages from your teacher, and you'll be able to see who else is connected. As you can see, it's not just me that's connected. My husband can also connect to our child's journal, so you can have multiple people, even grandparents, on there as well. Okay, so this is the Seesaw Family app. A couple other features I want to show you. Just like with ParentSquare, you have account settings that you can change your information. So for example, if you don't like getting so many notifications, you can turn them off, or you can just say once per day. Like right now at 5 p.m. every night, I get an email notification with all of the work that my kids did, as opposed to if you have a child and you're getting all. If you put all here, you're going to get it every time your child puts something in, you'll get a pop-up. So if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You can also remove children. If you accidentally, you have last year's information on, you can take that off if you don't want that to show up anymore. Okay. And then what else is on here? You can decide if you want to get an email, push, SMS, your text messages on there. So these are all different ways to manage your account. And again, to get into there, all you have to do is click on your name in the top left, go to account settings, and scroll down. You can change how your name comes up, right? If you want it to say mom instead of your first name, you can change that. You can change your password on here. And again, you can change how often you want to receive messages. If you want it once per day or all, or some, maybe you don't want any messages. So it's your choice how you want that to show up. Okay, so again, that is Seesaw Family, Seesaw Family Edition. All right, I didn't translate any of that. I hope that you guys were on with Ruby for that one. So, esto es la aplicación de Seesaw Familia, right? So, esto es para ustedes. Pueden, igual como en ParentSquare, ustedes pueden cambiar sus preferencias, right? So, si no quieren muchos mensajes, pueden escoger solamente recibirlo una vez por día. Pueden cambiar quién es parte de sus mensajes, right? Muchas personas de su familia pueden recibir los mensajes y pueden dejar comentarios a sus niños también. Okay, so give your students some love. Our students want that attention. They want to know that they're doing all this work and people are looking at it, right? They want an audience. So when you can go in and comment on their work, it's really, I think it's nice for them to see. So los niños sí quieren audiencia. So cuando ustedes pueden dejar mensajes y comentarios para los niños, está muy bonito de hacer esto. All right, so questions about anything with Seesaw, family or class?
Miss Bird.
Yes.
Para tener entonces el de la clase, el de student y de familia, ¿tienen que ser dos apps?
Yep, yeah, so son dos apps, pero los niños no necesitan de familia y la familia no necesita de clase. So son dos apps diferentes, pero cada persona solamente necesita uno, right? So they are two applications, but the students don't need the family app and the family doesn't need the student app.
Pero si los papás quieren revisar pues, que el niño está haciendo su tarea o algo, lo puede uno pues como hacer upload it, como ponerlo en el teléfono de uno y uno está checando para no ir directamente a la computadora donde está el niño.
Yes, you can definitely put it. In fact, I have both on my phone, so, just so I can go look at both. They also, you can look their websites too, right? So you can just go to the website. The website is app.seesaw.me. Let me show you that on our page again too.
Yeah, ahí sí tiene opción para agarrar a student or family, ¿verdad?
Yeah. So right here, you don't even have to have the app. If you guys are using just a computer, you can just go to this website and you can log in as a student, and then you can change it and log in as a family member. So you can log in as both. But if you want the apps, then yeah, you would have to have different apps, the Seesaw Family app and the Seesaw Class app.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, good question. So todo esto no son solamente aplicaciones. So si quieren solamente visitar en el sitio de web, pueden hacer esto también. So esto es cómo entrar, es app.seesaw.me. Y esto es, pueden seleccionar en esta, yo voy a mostrarte cómo parece cuando están pasando aquí. Okay, so, ustedes pueden seleccionar cualquier persona. Oh, well, yo voy a entrar ahorita como mí porque está memorizando mi información, pero ustedes pueden entrar como familia, como maestra o como alumno, right? So tiene opciones diferentes. Okay, so that is all the things we talked about. You can like, you can comment, you can send a message. Oh, I didn't show you that in the inbox tab. You can also send a direct message to your child's teacher or to me as the principal. This is where you can see the school-wide messages we're sending out. So you just go to that inbox tab and you'll have those, okay? So también ustedes pueden dar comentarios, corazones a sus niños. También, igual como ParentSquare, pueden mandarme un mensaje, mandar a la maestra un mensaje en de inbox. Y esto es donde pueden buscar los anuncios de la escuela o anuncios de la maestra también. Okay. And we talked about the settings, again, changing your settings. Pueden cambiar sus preferencias, todo esto también. All right, so that is ParentSquare and Seesaw in a nutshell. So hopefully it gave you a little bit more information about these tools and how to use them. Again, if you need login information, if you need your child's home learning code or you don't know their STU number, email us, call us, we'll give you that information. So we're here to help you and support you. We want to try and make this as easy as possible for all of you. What I'd love to do now is ask you again, How are you feeling about distance learning? Now that you have a little bit more tools in your tool belt, I want to know, are you feeling frustrated, insecure, scared, excited, brave, hopeful? So I am going to once again put our poll up, and I'm going to see if there's any change in our feelings now that we have a little bit more training under our belt, okay? So you should have the same question from the beginning of our meeting popping up on yours, and tell me, you can be honest, if you're still feeling pretty frustrated, that's okay, choose it. Tell us how you're feeling about this. So en este momento yo quiero ver cómo está sintiendo sobre aprendizaje de distancia. Ahora ojalá que tiene algunos herramientas nuevos. So escoja en su pantalla, deben escoger una o pueden escoger una, más de una de los sentimientos. ¿Cómo está sintiendo en este momento? Oh my goodness, Lucha leaders. Okay, I'm gonna give it until a minute. I'm gonna let it go for a minute so you guys have time. Right now we have 19 out of our 45 people have
Ms.
voted.
Burke,
Yes. Question.
I didn't see the box.
Oh, you don't get a pop-up?
No.
Well, I see that. So there should be a pop-up that comes on. What type of device are you on?
It's a laptop.
A laptop, and so move around your window, see if something pops up. It should just appear as a pop-up, right, Lucha leaders, Lucha families, and you guys see it as a pop-up?
Nope.
No, I'm sorry, I don't know. Sometimes I have no idea why things don't work, so I can't be the expert. But I'm gonna end poll. We got 27 people that were able to vote, so let's take a look and see. I'm gonna share the results. Look how positive it is. We have 62% of you feeling excited, 35% feeling brave, and 35% feeling hopeful. And it's okay to be frustrated. So I don't feel upset that you are frustrated. Trust me, it is tough. It is challenging. You guys are doing a great job, and reach out to us. We are here to help you through it all, okay? So if you have more questions, if this just made you more confused, then come and schedule a one-to-one. Miss Ruby, myself, Mrs. Musquez would be happy to just sit down with you, walk you through these things individually. So please don't hesitate to reach out and ask us for that help. Okay, so yo sé que es mucho, so no preocupaste si están frustradas, si están inseguro o asustado, porque es real, right? So nosotros estamos aquí para apoyarte. So Miss Ruby, Mrs. Musquez, yo están listos. Si quieres hacer uno a uno un repaso sobre estas cosas, solamente necesita venir a la oficina. Estamos aquí diariamente, lunes hasta miércoles, ojalá, lunes hasta viernes, y estamos listos para trabajar con ustedes y apoyar en este sistema, okay? So thank you, everybody, for coming today. We love seeing you on Zoom. We are going to be doing this every Friday at 10 a.m. for the next couple of weeks. So next week, we'll be going over Google Classroom, okay? So en la semana que entra, vamos a repasar la aplicación Google Classroom. It's more geared for 3rd through 5th grade students, and TK Kinder, 1st, 2nd, we're not really using it. So but 3rd through 5th grade parents, I definitely recommend joining us next week so you can learn more about Google Classroom, okay? So vamos a hacer estas talleres cada viernes a las 10. La semana que entra vamos a repasar Google Classroom. Es una aplicación que estamos usando en 3º hasta 5º. So para TK Kinder, 1º, 2º, no estamos usando Google Classroom mucho, pero de 3º a 5º deben asistir con nosotros a las 10 para aprender más sobre esta aplicación. Okay, and if you have other topics that you want us to cover, let us know, and we would be happy to cover them in future meetings. So si hay otras cosas que ustedes quieren, que estamos discutiendo, por favor, avísanos para que nosotros podemos ponerles en las agendas que vienen.
We hope that this training was helpful. Reach out if you have any questions.